Have you ever felt like you were being watched?
He's walking right behind me. He's just doing everything I do.
Your spidey senses are tingling. The hair goes up on the back of your neck, then you turn around and nothing. There might have been no one watching you, but the opposite was true for these people. From finding a stalker in a bedroom to some disturbing security footage, here are 15 people who discovered they were being watched. Number 15. Getting stalked by armed, masked figures. When a few innocent teens were filming a short skit for film school at Parnell Railway Station, they didn't realize they would be creating a horror film instead.
Holy fuck.
Everything was going smoothly enough, and the group stopped to discuss the footage they had just created. Before they know it, they are face to face with two masked figures lurking in the grass and scrubland by the railway tracks. If that isn't scary enough, the figures appear to be armed. The group of teens backs away and starts to pick up the pace. They then split up and try to make their way back to the main road, with the two masked figures not letting them out of their sight. At first, the teens thought it was some of the other students playing a prank, but as it turns out, that wasn't the case. When they got back to their classroom, a police chopper circled the area, and police on the ground with M4s and Kevlar vests were descending on the area. Fortunately, it was just a prank, and the two scary masked people turned themselves into the police. Before we go on, we have a cool challenge for y'all. It'll take about 5 seconds to complete. Let's make a deal. Just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 10 years of amazing luck and fortune. Try it. It actually works. Number 14. He's been living inside her mattress. Have you ever been watching a movie alone at night only to feel like someone is watching you? But you check all those common hiding spots like behind doors, in closets, and under beds, and realize that it's just you.
What do you want? Please leave me alone!
That's the case for most people, but not for this girl. A young woman named Sarah was concerned that someone was living in her house with her. She had felt someone behind her, but turned around and no one was there. She also felt something touching her while she was sleeping, but didn't know if she was dreaming or not. She got in touch with the experts who put cameras throughout her home, and what they showed was terrifying. A tall, monster-like man walked through the door of the guest room and quickly discovered the cameras. He managed to disconnect or destroy 3 of the 4, leaving only Sarah's bedroom camera working. It might have been best if he destroyed that one too, for Sarah has probably never had a decent night's sleep since she discovered what was really happening. The tall, monster-like creature was living in her mattress, with her in the bed. So the next time you watch a scary movie, don't only check under your bed, but in it. Number 13. We found him watching her sleep. When 19-year-old Charlotte moved into a flatting situation, she was expecting to find herself living with ordinary people in a typical house, but that wasn't the case. If it were, we wouldn't be talking about it now, would we?
It looks like he was just watching you for hours.
According to Charlotte, who got in touch with experts to work out what was going on, the last flatmate in the house disappeared. She said that her other flatmate, Derek, had said she had moved out, but all her stuff was still there, including clothing and other personal possessions. It didn't take long for other strange things to be happening. Charlotte felt like she was being watched and said her flatmate was downright creepy. Cameras set up proved just that. The footage from hidden cameras showed that Derek sat on his bed all night with a doll, brushing its hair and making strange noises. He then spends a considerable amount of time watching Charlotte sleep. After that incident, a lock is installed on Charlotte's door, which keeps Derek from entering her room. Instead, he enters the cameramen's room and watches them sleep. He then manages to get into Charlotte's room and pulls her covers off. After an altercation, Charlotte moves out and takes out a restraining order. Probably a good call. Number 12. There's something wrong with her dad. Emily is a visually impaired typical teenager who lives with her parents. After her dad goes hunting in the woods, everything changes, and Emily has to call in the big guns to find out how to get to the bottom of it.
Here. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
Emily's mom disappears, with her dad telling her she has gone on a trip. The only problem is, she's left her phone behind. Any millennial will know that no one leaves their phone behind. It would be like leaving behind an arm or leg. Emily's dad is also doing all kinds of weird things, like giving his daughter milk that's dark gray and wearing dirty t-shirts covered in muck. She says his skin also feels different and he won't let her in his bedroom. With cameras set up, it wasn't long until things got even weirder. Her dad spent most of the night standing up and sitting on his bed. His head also turns nearly all the way around. He then wanders into his daughter's room and watches her sleep before inviting another person into the room. When challenged by the cameraman, he attacks the camera and disappears without a trace. As far as we know, he was never seen again. Number 11. There's something wrong with her roommate. Imagine you live with your parents, then all of a sudden they leave you with a disturbing roommate and you never see them again. For Mariah, that was a reality.
Mariah, are you hungry?
No, I'm good.
Mariah got in touch with cameramen to work out what was happening during the night when she was sleeping. Her strange flatmate kept trying to get her alone, collected her toenails, and flew into fits of rage when she didn't eat the food he prepared. She installed a lock on her door, but she would often hear him breathing heavily outside her room while trying to turn the knob. Things didn't get any better when cameramen installed cameras and stayed in the house. During the night, the flatmate didn't sleep, but crawled into Mariah's room laughing a demented laugh. He then managed to lure the cameramen into another room, put a gate up, and trapped them inside. Fortunately, they were able to push the gate down and escape to call the police. But they never found out what became of Mariah, her parents, or the creepy flatmate. Are they alive? Who knows? Number 10. We found a stalker in her room. Kenzie, an 18-year-old teen, was very much a socializer. She had no qualms about putting her information online, including her phone number, and thinking that nothing would come of it. But something did come of it, and it might make her, and even you, think twice about sharing your information online.
So you said that last time when you were home alone, you heard biting and scratching at your door.
It all started with anonymous phone calls. The person on the other end wouldn't say anything, but would just listen to her. She then began receiving photos of herself in her home, such as her brushing her teeth. Eventually, Kenzie started hearing biting and scratching at her door. She had experts set up cameras with some disturbing results. Banging and scratching at the door began before someone lifted the window and entered the living room. But it didn't appear human. It looked human, but it moved and sounded like an ape. It also seemed to be naked apart from white underwear. Video footage showed it making its way into Kenzie's bedroom, laughing and making creepy sounds before disappearing up to the attic. The cameramen called the police, but the creature was never found. Number 9. Gamer Stalker Encounters. When you're famous, you can expect your fair share of stalkers and feelings of being watched. You can't even hang your washing on the line without paparazzi jumping out of the bushes to snap a picture of your tidy whities. Even gamers are not exempt from stalkers. Byron Bernstein, who's a gamer with the online alias of Wreckful and a former professional esports player, was walking down a street while live streaming on Twitch, a gaming platform. Nothing untoward was happening until all those watching his stream started telling him to look behind him and watch out. Lurking at a reasonable distance behind him was a man wearing a surgical-style face mask. The man didn't appear to be following him at first, but as Wreckful turned a corner, the man backtracked and started following him.
Fuck, man! You know me? Why did you do that?
That's when Wreckful decided to run. Fortunately, the man and his friend who were following him were fans of Wreckful and had worn the mask to creep him out. Thankfully, in this case, Wreckful was being watched, but not by someone who wanted to hurt him. Number 8. Boog 731 Stalker Encounters. Some people find it challenging to make friends, and other people are nearly fending off potential friendships with a bat. YouTuber Boog731, it's B-O-O-G-E, Booge? I'm going with Boog, falls into the latter group. While we only hear a snippet of the conversation, what we do hear is downright creepy, and it's even more disturbing when you learn the context.
You followed me my car. How does that not make me uncomfortable?
The man talking to the YouTuber in the footage had been following him for several months in 2011. He would follow him from public transport to his car, try to make conversations with him that led nowhere, and would sit next to him at every opportunity. Boog731 had never seen this man in his life until all of a sudden he was trying to fill up every part of it. Eventually, he recorded one of the conversations and ended up threatening legal action before following through. The police were called, and finally, the man got the hint and left the YouTuber alone. As it turns out, you don't need to be a famous celebrity to have your very own stalker, and we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Equality for all. Number 7. A creepy guy following. At first glance, this video looks like any other social interaction, which is to say, terrifying. It's a group of friends hanging out together, and new people join the group to get among the action. But something unusual's going on if you pay closer attention. Jake is a Twitch streamer who goes by the names of White Devil and Jake and Bake Live, and he broadcasted his life live while he studied abroad in China. Here, he became fluent in Mandarin and amassed over 200,000 followers. He also spent time in Japan, where he live streamed there too. It was during such a scenario that a young Chinese girl came walking up to him and put his arm around her. To anyone else, it looked like she knew him and he her. As it turns out, she didn't. A man was stalking her, and Jake was quick to pretend he knew her. A woman in his group even started dancing with the new girl to make it appear even more legitimate. Who knows what would have happened if Jake and his social circle didn't play along. What we can say is that he's not only a decent streamer, but a reasonably good actor too. Number 6. Security camera footage. Some people joke about how fun or exciting it would be to have a stalker, but ask anyone that does have a stalker and they'll tell you, it's not fun at all, it's just plain weird. A YouTuber by the name of That Man in Black knows firsthand what having a stalker's like, and it's anything but glamorous. The whole ordeal kicks off at the beginning of 2017 when a man stops and offers a woman a lift who is walking her bike in the snow. She tells him she lives in the house in the footage and that she doesn't need a ride. That's when things get real very quickly. The man starts driving past their house several times per day. He parks in their driveway and waits, or on the road by their mailbox. He carries on this behavior for weeks, even changing cars halfway through. He approaches the man's wife and tells her that he needs someone to help around the house and help him with driving, but she says she can't help with either. He then writes a note with his phone number with the same request and leaves it by their mailbox in a nylon bag. The drive-bys go on for months, and no one knows if the YouTuber ever gets to the bottom of it. Number 5. Stalker fan outside house at 3 a.m. Lispy Jimmy is a YouTuber with over 5.78 million subscribers. By 2019, he had also racked up over 550 million views. He is most commonly known for his Grand Theft Auto footage, but now he's getting a name for himself because of his crazy fans.
He's coming this way. He's coming this way.
At nearly 3 a.m., Lispy Jimmy noticed that someone was loitering outside his house. While the footage was unclear, his girlfriend, who was home at the time, could also see the person hanging around on the street. In an over 10-minute long video, Jimmy goes from thinking there's a fan outside his house to thinking there's one in it. There's no proof there was ever someone watching him in his home, but some strange sounds appear throughout the video. The fridge door sounds like it's opening, there's knocking sounds, and some trash gets knocked over in the garage. From start to finish, the video is full of heightened emotions as Jimmy tiptoes around his home trying to make sure no one is in it. Given the size of his house, it takes him quite a while to lock all the doors, check all the closets, and make sure no crazy stalker fans are inside. He never sees the person again, so we can only assume they went home to bed. Number 4. Whispering under the door at 2 a.m. In 2011, YouTuber Jamie West, who has nearly 150 subscribers, uploaded footage she took of stalkers at her door at 2 a.m. According to Jamie, she and her friends had met some guys in their hotel and they seemed friendly enough. However, usually when you meet someone in public, they don't follow you home. These guys did. The three men followed the girls back to their hotel room, where they continued to loiter outside their door. They kept knocking, whispering, and even eating food while trying to peer through the peephole. The girls managed to capture everything on film by videoing the peephole. They whispered under the door, knocked, and were adamant they were coming in. We aren't sure what happened next, but we can probably assume the men gave up and went home, or at least we hope that's what happened. Fortunately, if you're gonna have a short-term stalker, the best place to have one is at a hotel. There are plenty of other people around, and the stalkers don't know where you actually live. These girls got lucky. Number 3. Clown staring through the window. Kalis Cunningham is a YouTuber that goes by the name of Infinite. He has over 14.5 million subscribers, and many of his fans watch his footage for the clown videos he sometimes puts up. This time though, he wasn't going to the clowns were coming to him.
Oh, yo, no.
Infinite said that at 1 a.m. on Halloween morning, he had his bedroom window slightly open. He looked out to see a Pennywise-style clown standing at his fence, looking up at him and smiling. According to Infinite, the experience was absolutely terrifying. But it gets worse. The clown moves out of the camera's view and heads for his front door. Infinite has to race to it to lock it before he spots him standing at his front door through the peephole already. As he races through the living room, viewers are also quick to spot the red balloon on his ceiling, which he doesn't notice himself until the next day. Oddly enough, the balloon is not in the house the next day. Most people will know what a red balloon signifies if they've seen the movie It, and it can do nothing but send shivers up your spine. Number 2. Dog scares off alleged stalker. A 19-year-old man named Tristan Reyes of Howell Township in New Jersey was arrested on a charge of stalking, and it was all thanks to one woman's dog that he was finally caught.
A person get into the vehicle and then they sped away very quickly.
No one knows for sure just how many people Tristan stalked before he was caught, but 2 women came forward to say he had followed them home from the grocery store. The first woman had noticed a black minivan tailing her, so she phoned her dad to make sure he was waiting outside when she got home. Thanks to her quick actions, the man kept driving. The next time Tristan stalked a woman, she didn't notice the minivan following her home, but saw it up her neighbor's driveway and that it looked out of place. She also watched on her security camera footage as a man lurked around the property, squatting down and looking like he was trying to gain access to the house. It wasn't until the woman's Rottweiler went outside did the man leave. From that footage, police were able to identify and arrest the man. Number 1. Louise Paxton. The story of Louise Paxton is probably one of the more widely known ones, and it's certainly a horrifying case of someone who discovered they were being watched. Louise Paxton was a young woman who moved to London to start a new life after breaking up with her boyfriend. Her YouTube channel was set up to keep her friends and family up to date, so videos on it started normal enough. Before long though, things got weird. She was being woken up by rustling and scraping, and a man was standing in her doorway, leaning against her window pane. He never spoke or responded, but continued to turn up. Police couldn't do anything. She also found an old coin at the end of her bed and muddy handprints on her windows. The strange occurrences intensified until Louise was now posting frequent stalker videos of proof that someone was entering her home. Others were convinced that what she was experiencing was paranormal. According to YouTubers, Louise went missing after her last video and was never seen again. There you have it, folks. No more sleep for any of you. Did any of these stories make the hair stand up on the back of your neck? Do you have any stalker stories of your own? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time, and sweet dreams.